It makes a man want to reject the church because you are comparing your husband to a man who was anointed for this position when your husband is anointed for something else. But because you are not studying his anointing and you're studying this anointing, you are not honoring him.
Truthfully, it is unfair because if I am the man of the house, I need to get the same respect you're giving the man that's outside of it. Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I want to talk to y'all about the clip that I found on IG where this woman is basically explaining to us about why a lot of men don't go to church. Long story short, there's this poll out here where men took it and a good deal of them said that the reason they don't go to church is because their women, their wives, are putting the pastor above them. Like when they get to the house, the woman is not showing them the same respect that they showed the man up there preaching on the stage. And we all know that respect is a big thing that men like, and if we're not getting it, we act a fool. So here's how I want to do this video. The first thing I want to do is play this clip out entirely because I only gave y'all a smidget of the actual video. Then the next thing I want to do is give y'all an overview of what I think. The final part of this video will be coming from other men that more than likely go to church or that has something to say about it. If y'all like my content and y'all rocking with your boy, show me some love and make sure you hit that subscribe button.
You all know one of the reasons why a lot of men will not come to church. Of course, it's an excuse, but this is one of the polls that we read. It was because you have more women that come to the church and edify and praise the pastor and clap for the pastor and honor the pastor, but then they go home and do the exact opposite with their husband. So when you have a man that comes to the house of God and they see their wife honoring a man and they won't even honor the man that they have at home, it makes a man want to reject the church. Because you are comparing your husband to a man who was anointed for this position when your husband is anointed for something else. But because you are not studying his anointing and you're studying this anointing, you are not honoring him. And this anointing's cost. I promise you, women think that they want a man of God. I'm married to a man of God. I can promise you this right here, it takes a level of grace for your life. So you have men that say that, you know, I don't want anything to do with the church because, once again, the comparison part, you're comparing your husband to the pastor when God has literally called you to call your husband up to his anointing. And it's never for you to look at another man to try to make your husband grow based on comparison. No man is going to be willing to grow because you're comparing him to another man.
While I am not an extra religious person that goes to church on Sundays like everybody else, I can tell you for a fact that I would agree with this statement. Like, if my girl is pedalizing another man, putting this man above me on her knees, praying in front of this man, saying thank you, pastor, and all this other stuff, I'm gonna have issues because if you're not giving me that same type of love at home and you give me problems, why are you giving him none of those problems? Like, I'm here with you 24/7. I'm here protecting you. I'm providing for you. I'm doing all the stuff you ask, but yet this man just tell you some stuff inside of a book and you show him all the love and praise. Come on, man, get out of here, all that. So in regards to this woman that's married to the pastor explaining the reason why men don't go to church, the first person said this: some people worship the preacher more than they do God. And if my girl was doing that, I would pick up on it, and more than likely I'd be offended. Especially seeing that you can't compete with God, but you can compete with the preacher. The next person said this: I think when men decide to leave their homes, there will be no gap. It's a gap that makes the women admire the pastor. If a woman's leadership / securities are met from home, she won't need anything to supplement it. So what I'm hearing is that if a man does his job, you're not gonna go to church and praise this man. Or maybe I'm hearing it wrong, but this is what it sounds like. The next woman said this: speak this powerful word across the nation. Women and men have lost their loved ones due to honoring the pastor. I haven't heard this type of word in a while. Thank you for bringing this up. This woman said, I hear that, but there is also accountability on men. Men as in husband and the pastor. The pastor should encourage marriages and honor husbands. But I'm not sure that's the pastor's job. I think his job is to spread the good word, right? This man said this: this is not an excuse. This is a valid reason. It needs to be respected as such. And then the last person said this: this is why I stopped going. I lost my marriage behind it, amongst other things. But a lot of women look at the pastor as a father figure, the father they never had. And that man literally becomes their idol. And as a husband, she would never truly be there. All of a sudden, she is at church 4 or 5 times a week with the pastor and his wife. They might as well start a polygamous relationship at that point. Before there was ever social media from women to get attention, it was always the church, and it will always continue to be that. And I feel for this man pain. Your woman decides to devote her time 4 to 5 days a week at the church. She ain't barely home. She barely seeing you now. She barely spending time with you. So for his marriage, I do feel sorry for that. Unlike the rest of y'all, my reason for not going to church is that I fall asleep in there. Like, I grew up going to church and everything, and before the sermon was over, I was passed out getting my ass whooped. So we got different reasons. So what is y'all reasons? Why ain't y'all going to church? Get in that church. And for those of you that do, what about y'all wife? Are y'all wife praising the pastor more than you, showing this man to be above you? How do y'all feel about that? Leave a like, a comment, or subscribe. This your boy Labz, and I'm out.